centers ban single-use plastics. Lagos Executive Council organizes luncheon with special children to mark Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's 59th birthday. Five persons killed as Kenyans protest against tax hikes. We'll bring you details in a moment. Please stay with us. Many thanks for joining us. I am Bukola Taylor Cole. The Federal Executive Council has stepped down the memo on the national minimum wage to allow President Bola Tinubu have a more robust consultation with the state governments. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris stated this while briefing journalists on the resolutions of the council after much deliberations on the memo on national minimum wage. The minister noted that the federal government is not in opposition to the national minimum wage, but it is willing to have an agreeable consensus by all the parties concerned following the submission of the report of the tripartite committee on minimum wage.
On the new national minimum wage, Mr. President is going to consult further so that he can have an informed position, because the new national minimum wage, like I said, is not just an issue of the federal government. It affects the state governments, it affects the local governments, it also affects the organized private sector. And that is why it is called national minimum wage. It's not just an affair of the federal government.
Recall that the private sector and the federal government had proposed 62,000 naira, while the organized labor on its part had maintained a 252,000 naira tag. President Bola Tinubu has directed the immediate setup of a cabinet committee to oversee the emergency operation centers across the country on the cholera outbreak to provide the needed financial interventions. The president also gave the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare a marching order to improve its drives towards curbing the acute spread of cholera and yellow fever outbreak. Minister of Health and Social Welfare Professor Ali Pate disclosed this while briefing State House correspondents on the resolve of the Federal Executive Council after their meeting, which was presided over by President Bola Tinubu at the Aso Rock Villa. The federal government also announced the immediate ban of single-use plastics in all federal government ministries, departments and agencies. And meanwhile, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edu, has allayed the fears of Nigerians over the ongoing conversation on the continued growth of external borrowings and debt, as well as the capacity of the country to pay the loans. As a way of boosting the operations of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the Council also approved the purchase of 33 Meccano vehicles at the cost of 1.9 billion naira. Now, following the outbreak of cholera in Lagos, the State House of Assembly has passed a resolution for proactive measures to prevent the further spread of the disease. Olatunde Yusuf has the report. Okay, we'll bring you details of that report later. Now, the Senate Ad hoc Committee investigating a 30 trillion naira Ways and Means facility expended between 2015 and 2023 under the previous administration says the investigation is still on course. Chairman of the committee, Senator Issa Jibrin, debunked an online report alleging that the investigation, which began in March 2024, is in limbo. He explained that although the committee was given 6 weeks when inaugurated in in March to carry out the exercise and report to the Senate, it had become imperative to exceed the time frame given the sensitivity of the assignment. The senator said the essence of an investigation is to come up with factual findings and not just roll in report within specified time frame. The committee chairman further explained that required findings have been carried out, which is evident in a letter of reminder recently written to the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has dismissed the report that the 10th Senate is allegedly proposing that the federal government should procure new aircraft for President Bola Tinubu and his vice Kashim Shettima. Now, speaking to newsmen in Maiduguri shortly after leading a delegation to pay a condolence visit to Senator Mohammed Tahir Monguno over the death of his father, Senator Akpabio said the report is not true. According to a statement by Akpabio's media office in Abuja last week, reports filtered in the media that the Senate president said the Senate would approve the purchase of new aircraft for the president and vice president, irrespective of the economic situation in the country. Senator Akpabio says the report was from propagandist and fifth columnist, stressing that the Senate was focused on delivering legislation that would support the actualization of President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. Now, the 2024 Lagos International Water Conference has afforded Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu the opportunity to task stakeholders in the water sector to do more in ensuring access to water and innovative solutions to water challenges in the state. Correspondent Adetola Kayode reports that the governor sought the buy-in of other stakeholders to see to the completion of the Ajinyo Water Works project. Her report.
Safe water, sanitation and hygiene wash are not only prerequisites to good health, but also contributes to livelihoods essential for economic growth, human health, and helps create resilient communities living in healthy environments. Little wonder for the 5th time the Lagos State government is hosting the Lagos International Water Conference to constantly explore innovative solutions to the challenges of water. Water plays a vital role in the progress of any society.
The public-private partnership, microfinance initiatives, international development assistance, and innovating financing mechanisms can also contribute to achieving sustainable and equitable access to water and sanitation services.
After over a decade, Lagos was able to sign and approve a WASH policy. This sets the tone and put us on a global pedestal, telling the world we are ready to address the issue of water, the issue of hygiene and sanitation.
As we convene for this significant event, we are united by a shared commitment to improving the lives of millions through sustainable water and sanitation solutions.
We talk about WASH, we talk about waterborne diseases, how to prevent them. We talk about water treatment, sewage treatment plants. All of these are things in which we have built up knowledge that we are happy to share with Lagos.
For the governor of the state of aquatic splendor, who was caught off guard as the congregation sang to honor him on his birthday, it's high time the people and government did away with the rhetorics, stop paying lip service to the challenges of water, be the change they want and desire. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu says the best birthday present he desires before the next water conference is the completion of the 70 million gallon Ajinyo water treatment plant.
Let's identify truthfully and honestly what needs to happen. And I'm going to make myself as an example. The best birthday present that I want here today is not the song. It's the fact that when we come back here next year for this yet another conference, Ajinyo 2, which will require tens of billions of naira, we should have been completing it. That is the commitment I want to leave here today. I'm looking for real partners from the Federal Ministry of Environment, from all of our international development partners, to the private sector, that I see all of the very nicely done proposals, but nothing happens after the proposals. It's just been all proposals. We want boots on the ground. We want people that are committed and will take this forward.
The event, which has this theme, financing water and sanitation for a greater Lagos, had contributions from the Minister of the Environment and Water Resources Sanitation, Joseph Utsev, and members of the Diplomatic Corps. The theme for the 2024 Lagos International Water Conference is Financing Water and Sanitation for a Greater Lagos. Aditola Kayode, LTV News.
And Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has called on Lagos residents and stakeholders at the International Fire and Safety Conference to collaborate with the state government in its bid to enhance fire safety through robust policies, strategic investments, and community engagements. This, he said, will help build a Lagos where fire disasters are drastically reduced. Aditola Kayode has the report.
It's the first International Fire and Safety Conference holding in Lagos. Government at all levels and other stakeholders are here to review strategies, fashion out newer ones, using international best practices to prevent and reduce incidences of fire disaster and other emergencies. Lagos, no doubt, plays a pivotal role in disaster management in the country with its array of equipment, personnel, and prompt response to emergencies across the 5 divisions in the state. It is now time to call for more partnership with the private sector to develop cutting-edge technology, create more awareness, fire safety research and development, plus provide more equipment for optimal efficiency. That's because fire prevention is everyone's business.
The welfare of firefighting personnel and other agency respondents has remained the top priorities of this administration. This is hangs on our belief that the development of human capital is crucial to goal attainment.
We are here for collaboration with the public, where government, where the traditional chief give the agency line and the government build fire station, while private organizations come together to give us a fire engine. Fire prevention is everybody's business. That is why we are all here. We need to collaborate to address this issue. It's a serious issue that we should not ignore.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu says his administration is fully committed to enhancing fire safety through policies, strategies, and steps to strengthen the fire service with materials, modern tools, local and international trainings. Mr. Governor therefore made a passionate appeal to Lagos residents, especially market men and women, to be careful, responsible, and mindful of how they keep and handle inflammable items.
Wọ́n ti ń dúró gbogbo wọn láti kọ́ wọ́n ń dúró pé kẹ́pẹ́ wọn ní ọlọ́mọ ẹ̀ka arógun náà o bọ̀ tó bá ṣẹlẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ká jẹ́ kán ṣiṣẹ́ wọn pé kán dẹ̀ lè bá a mú wálẹ̀ ilé wa ò ní jó ọ̀nà ò ní bàjẹ́ o. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, what I've been saying is really just to encourage our citizens, to admonish them, to say to them that all of these things we can reduce it if we work collaboratively, if we see ourselves as stakeholders, if we see ourselves as our brother's keeper, if we know that if there is a fire disaster, it knows no boundary, it knows nobody's house. It can come to anybody's property. If you are careful, the other person might not be careful. So you need to educate everybody around you, around ensuring that we all keep a safe and peaceful environment amongst ourselves.
The people were also enjoined to always call 767 or 112, the Lagos emergency numbers, in case of emergencies. The first International Fire and Safety Conference has as its theme stakeholders collaboration, a panacea to incessant fire disasters in Lagos. Aditola Kayode, LTV News.
The Lagos State Executive Council has organized a special luncheon tagged Mr. Governor's Day with children living with disabilities to celebrate the 59th birthday of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. The event took place at the Lagos House Ikeja. Again, Aditola Kayode has the report.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu walked into the beautifully decorated hall filled with children and students drawn from special schools across the education districts in the state who have come to celebrate his birthday with him. With fist bumps, high fives, handshakes, and hugs, the governor went around taking pictures, appreciating these special ones for celebrating his birthday with him. One after the other, the schools made special renditions to the delight and pleasure of Mr. Governor. Thereafter, Governor Sanwo-Olu cut his birthday cake with the kids, who were given so much to eat and drink, including party packs. Present at the birthday celebration were his wife, the First Lady Bijoke Sanwo-Olu, the wife of the Deputy Governor Oluremi Hamzat, members of the State Executive Council, amongst others. Governor Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu was born on the 25th of June 1965. He clocked 59. Adetola Kayode, OTV News.
Many happy returns to Mr. Governor. Now, moving on, Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tarid Lagbaja says the Nigerian Army will continue to intensify its efforts to be an instrument of national unity, integration and development as it sets to celebrate 161 years of existence. General Lagbaja disclosed this during the press conference at the Army headquarters in Abuja to mark the commencement of the 2024 Nigerian Army Week celebration. Represented by his Chief of Policy and Plans, Major General Abdulsalami Ibrahim, the Army Chief said the theme for this year's Nigerian Army Day celebration was carefully selected considering the significance of transformation for combat readiness and proficiency towards attaining a robust national security that supports economic prosperity and resilient democracy.
The Nigerian Army Day celebration aims to showcase the Army as an instrument of national unity, integration and development, as well as highlight the achievements, capabilities and enduring reputation of the Nigerian Army. The theme for this year's Nigerian Army Day celebration is transforming the Nigerian Army, imperative for combating contemporary security challenges within a joint environment.
General Lagbaja further highlighted achievements made so far by the Nigerian Army over the years, which has ranked it 39th out of 145 countries assessed in the Global Firepower Index of 2024.
Development and progress in several areas such as security, education, engineering, health, science, sports, and many other spheres. It is in due to these accomplishments we always seize the opportunity presented by the period culminating into 6 July to celebrate and give glory to the Almighty God.
The 2024 Nigerian Army Day celebration is scheduled to hold in Jos, Plateau State, with a week-long activities across its formation in the country from the 1st to the 6th of July. And President Bola Tinubu is expected to grace the occasion as a special guest of honor. And the Nigerian Army has condemned a viral video alleging that it recruits jihadists, saying that the footage is aimed at sowing discord and cause religious crisis in the country. Army spokesman Major General Oyema Nwachukwu in a statement said the Army remains steadfast in upholding professionalism and impartiality as an institution devoid of ethnic and religious bigotry. It said the footage was targeted at sparking palpable anxiety and fear, sowing discord and mistrust amongst Army personnel, particularly among Christians and non-Muslim communities. Major General Nwachukwu said the Army is a professional institution with operational and administrative processes, as well as actions guided by the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and not an ethnicity or religious sentiment. Now, the Army urged the public to dismiss the misleading report. Stakeholders at the plenary session of the Northwest Peace and Security Summit put together by the Northwest Governors Forum held in Katsina State have advocated for the application of cohesion to end banditry in the Northwest region. According to Brigadier General Saleh Bala, bandits are abusing the weakness of the states they operate in, hence they must be dealt with decisively. Ending kidnapping for ransom, the politics, people, and power structures was the topic of discussion, as the objective was not only to drive a political will in ending banditry in the region, but also to see how states navigated the complexities of politics, people and power of the kidnapping industry. The discussion also centered on how the region can work to foster an environment that promotes social and economic development as well as food security. They, however, called on the political office holders to allow security operatives do their work as mandated, while stressing that the role of women in ending banditry cannot be overemphasized. Hence, women as mothers and conflict managers must be involved in decision-making. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has applauded the media professionals for their efforts in the ongoing counter-terrorism war in the country. The minister also cautioned journalists against misinformation and fake news, saying it can be as damaging as terrorism. It stated this at the opening of a two-day training workshop on effective reporting towards strengthening alternatives to terrorist ideologies for security and defense correspondence held at the Office of the National Security Advisor. To counter this, the minister said the media must offer compelling, positive alternatives that resonate with the same audiences targeted by terrorists. He enjoined defense correspondents to work closely with security experts, sociologists, psychologists, and community leaders to provide a multifaceted perspective on terrorism and its alternatives. Still ahead. NELFund postpones application process for state-owned institutions. That's in the moment. Stay with us.
Dear Lagosians, we are taking a stand for our city's health and future. The Lagos State government has banned styrofoam food containers to shield our environment and your well-being. Why? Because styrofoam made of polystyrene is linked to severe health risks like cancer, Parkinson's disease, and hearing loss. But the danger doesn't stop there. It is also non-biodegradable, meaning it will remain the same for the next 500 years, leading to clogged drains and increased flooding. Our oceans are also at risk. It harms marine life, disrupting the delicate balance of our ecosystem. Please, let us embrace the usage of only reusable plastic containers henceforth. If you are found using, selling, or distributing styrofoam food containers, these items will be confiscated and you will be prosecuted. Let's choose a safer path with reusable plastics. It's up to us to ensure a vibrant, healthier, and cleaner Lagos for generations to come. Enough is enough. Join the movement.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 8 on Lagos Television. Now, the management of the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NELFund, has announced a 14-day postponement of the application process for student loans for state institutions due to low data submissions. Head Media and Public Relations Nasiru Ayitogo, in a statement, says the decision was necessitated by the failure of several state-owned institutions to upload the required student data and fee information to the NELFund student verification system, saying only a limited number of state-owned institutions have completed the data submission process. These include 20 state universities out of 48, 12 state colleges of education out of 54, and 2 state polytechnics out of 49. Ayitogo says while they acknowledge the efforts of these institutions, the failure to submit data from the remaining state institutions poses significant challenges to ensuring a seamless and accurate verification process for student loan applicants. The application window, initially set to open for June 25, will now commence on July 10 to provide additional time for state institutions to comply with the data submission requirements and ensure that students benefit from the federal government student loan scheme. The members of the Nigeria Labour Congress National Transition Committee have demanded for the immediate resignation of the national chairman, Julius Abure. The acting chairman of the Transition Committee, Abdul Wahid Omar, led members of the Labour Union to the Secretariat chanting solidarity songs and calling for the resignation of Abure on grounds that his tenure as a chairman of the party had expired. But on getting there, the gates were shut by security officials. However, in an attempt to force their way into the premises, the police fired tear gas to dispatch the protesters. Now, women from the Ikpo community today blocked the entrance to the Port Harcourt airport. The women from Ikpo, which is one of the host communities of the airport, blocked the gate at the airport roundabout, carrying placards, singing, wailing, and even cooking at the gate. Now, some of the inscriptions on their banner include, "We demand our citizens' right, Ikpo women peaceful protest." This is the second time this year that the women are protesting. Recall that they protested on March 27 this year, but were pacified by the former chairman of the Rivers Traditional Rulers Council, Sergeant Awuse. The development comes as the Rivers State Police Command warned against planned protests by the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees, with the Rivers State Commissioner of Police, Olatunji Disu, saying he had deployed police officers to the secretariats of all the 23 local government areas to ensure the safety of lives and property. Women in business have called on policymakers to prioritize the domestication of the national women's economic empowerment policy in all the states and local governments of the Federation. At the Coalition for Women's Economic Empowerment in Lagos, they say the policy will solve the gender disparities in business. We have details in this report. In 2023, the National Women's Economic Empowerment Policy was launched as a guideline initiated to provide financial inclusion, gender mainstreaming, access to opportunities, and skills acquisition, amongst other empowerment benefits for women. Since its introduction, there have been calls for its domestication in all the states of the Federation. At this Coalition for Women Economic Empowerment Forum, speakers say women must be put in the mainstream of Nigeria's financial system to drive gender equality, women empowerment, and poverty reduction.
These are the major core sectoral interventions and pillars in the policy. We have women in agriculture, women in entrepreneurship, women in the traditional labor markets, women in emerging industries as media, the creatives, and women's skill education and skill acquisition, and also cross-cutting enablers. We don't want this policy to just be the first national policy. What next? We need citizens to engage this policy.
The policy is still at the national level. And in the structure of how Nigeria is governed, it's important that this policy is also domesticated at the state level. What that means is that we have at least 32 states that need to domesticate a national policy. They need to have their own policy.
The journey is closing the gender equality gap. The journey is women owning their voice, telling their story, being able to others to understand that equality is in women being represented properly in their space or in spaces where they're very competent.
The focus of discussion amongst these women in business include affirmative procurement policy, state gender responsive budgeting, and care economy.
We have been working with UN Women, and we are committed to that gender responsive procurement, affirmative procurement. We will ensure that as soon as it becomes a policy, that we begin to run with it.
We're trying to see the policies that we can put in place that will favor women in terms of trading. Because there are lots of bottlenecks in trading for women.
A lot of the burden of care is something rested on women, and that's one of the reasons why women don't progress economically, because they're struggling to also, while they're sort of combining their means of economic endeavor, they're also looking after their families, they're the primary carers, and they need support.
When fully implemented and domesticated, the National Women's Economic Empowerment Policy will ensure Nigeria is ranked among the top 90 countries on the World's Economic Forum Global Gender Gap Index by 2028. Bukola Taylor Cole, LTV News. And now to this one, the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has ordered celebrity bartender and businessman Pascal Okechukwu, popularly known as Cubana Chief Priest, to forfeit the sum of 10 million naira to the federal government as a fine in line of the charge made against him for alleged naira abuse. Now, this was contained in the terms of settlement agreement with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, which was adopted before the trial judge, Justice Kehinde Ogundare. At the proceedings, counsel for the EFCC, Bilikisu Buhari Bala, informed the court that parties in the charge entered into the out-of-court settlement and same was duly signed by both parties. The defendant's counsel, Chika Osulu Ojukwu, commended the reasonable action of the anti-graft agency in having the matter resolved, saying the defendant is equally remorseful and promises to turn over a new leaf going forward. Justice Ogundare, in his short ruling, adopted the terms of settlement and consequently struck out the charge. The Lagos State government has announced that traffic will be diverted from Alfred Rwani and Osborn through Osborn Foreshore Estate access to enable the Federal Ministry of Works carry out the first phase of the rehabilitation of asphaltic sections from Osborn Foreshore Estate to Sura Bridge ramp from Wednesday, 26th of June to the 27th of July for a duration of 4 weeks. Motorists from Alexander Glover are advised to use Obadi Yinka Oyekon Avenue inward Ikoyi to connect Obalende Ring Road and access 3rd Mainland Bridge to proceed with their journeys, while motorists from Victoria Island are advised to go through Falomo Roundabout to link Awolowo Road and access 3rd Mainland Bridge to reach their desired destinations. Alternatively, motorists from Victoria Island can also utilize Ozumba Mbadiwe Avenue to link Mekunwe Bridge and proceed to CMS Akpongbo Bridge inwards Eko Bridge to access Funshaw Williams Avenue to reach their desired destinations. The Commissioner for Transportation, Oluwaseun Oshiemi, assured that traffic management personnel will be on ground to minimize inconveniences and ensure steady flow of traffic. He urges motorists to be patient and comply with the officers and the aforementioned interventions put in place. Now, the rainy season poses a lot of challenges for many road users, from poor visibility, bad brakes and non-functioning wipers to poorly maintained vehicles. Now, these and more are the factors that lead to catastrophic accidents on the roads. In this report, Joshua Murakinyo highlights safety issues on the road during this period. His report.
Rains. Rains means different things to different people. For some, it means it's time to take advantage of the rains, and for others, it's a devastating period. For the motoring public, it's time to be cautious and prevent avoidable road accidents. Road traffic accidents and their related deaths have become a major health problem and concern. Despite the scanty data to buttress this claim, the reality says otherwise. But what are those things to pay attention to when it rains?
Ensure that the wiper is working perfectly. Ensure that the lighting system, front and back, is in perfect shape. Because during when it is raining, there are times that condition will affect visibility. So if you are driving, especially inside a very heavy rain, it is expected that you put on your hazard light, or not even hazard light now. You may add it to it, but the full light, you put on your full light.
Some motorists and analysts believe there are more to fixing the car and other accessories when it rains.
In fact, I love driving in the rain because almost all the road officials will be off the road. So even if your papers are not complete or you don't have anything, nobody to stop you. You just move smoothly. The only thing I just caution myself, I don't overspeed and I don't drive carelessly.
Paul, I ensure that my hazard lights are on. And also I ensure that I come out and check my tires as well. My wipers are also on and working very well.
I so much bother about maybe driving carefully, mostly in short. Anytime it rains, that's what bother. When I'm driving, I must drive carefully.
Just want to advise the motorists, as in the car owner, to be very careful about these downfall driver, the red, yellow buses and keke during this period.
Let's have the public know the damage they are doing when it's raining, that they bring out their dirt from their homes and come, pour it on the road with the hope or with the idea that the rain takes away their dirt to God knows where. But then it gets to affect the road. That's why we get to see potholes.
The safety of the road is a collective responsibility, especially when it rains. Therefore, government at all levels as well as road users must pay attention to their vehicles to avoid the calamity of road accident. Joshua Murakinyo, LTV News, Lagos.
Coming up, World Bank disburses $45.5 million to National Identity Management Commission under Digital Identification for Development. That's in Business News. Stay with us. Business News, the World Bank says it has disbursed a total of $45.5 million to the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, under the Digital Identification for Development project. The project is aimed at enrolling more Nigerians for the National Identification Number, NIN. According to the Apex Bank, Nigeria was able to secure the funding with the passing into law of the Nigerian Protection Act in June last year. The fund was disbursed in multiple tranches between December 2021 and April 2024, and disbursement is still ongoing. The $45 million so far released represents about 10.5% of the total project's cost, which is put at $430 million.
It has handed over 42,000 metric tons of assorted grains from the National Strategic Reserve to the Lagos State government. The grains, which include 15,600 bags of 50 kg maize, 3,760 bags of 25 kg gari, and 16,000 bags of 50 kg sorghum, are to be shared to vulnerable persons as part of the federal government's efforts to cushion the effects of harsh economic realities on Nigerians. Handing over the grains on behalf of the federal government, Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, Subaida Umar, says the grains will also help address rising cost of food production.
In line with the desire of the federal government of Nigeria, through His Excellency, the President of Nigeria, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he desires that the hardship that the common man is going through now should be minimized. So he has directed that grains be released to all the states in Nigeria. What is taking place here in Lagos is the number of grains that has been released allocated to Lagos State to cushion the effects of the economic hardship downturn that is happening presently in the whole Nigeria.
The Lagos State Ministry of Agriculture will receive the grains on behalf of the state government, promises to ensure it gets to the vulnerable people it is meant for.
First of all, we appreciate what they're giving us, and as Oliver Twist, we still want more of this, because we have a lot of vulnerable in the state. You know, Lagos being the most populous state in Nigeria, you should expect a lot of vulnerables among us, people that are living below poverty level. So we need more of this. So we are giving it to the CDA and the people that really need it.
This is a very good relief to we all beneficiaries of this program. We really appreciate, and on behalf of the beneficiaries, I'll say a big thank you to the federal government and Lagos State government.
The food item, though, is not enough, but alhamdulillah, I thank the president and I thank the NEMA management for this little, but we'll still expect more from them, inshallah.
Recall that as a temporal response to the nation's growing food crisis and the rising price of commodities, President Bola Tinubu on February 8 ordered the immediate release of 102,000 metric tons of various grain types from the Strategic Reserve and the Rice Millers Association of Nigeria.